My favorite part about camp is how loving of an atmosphere it is, just how much support there is between all the staff, and just how everyone is there to encourage each other and to grow with God and to grow with each other, and it's just such an encouraging environment. My name is Sarah Nykiforuk, and I'm from Davidson, Saskatchewan. I started going to camp as a camper when I was 8 years old, and I was a camper for 6 years, and now this will be my 6th summer coming up here working at camp, and I've just loved everything about it, the people and the atmosphere, and it's been a really great thing for me. I remember every single one of my early cabin leaders. Jessica Maxwell was the one who led me to Christ when I was 8 years old, and I remember every cabin leader I had after that. Something that really stood out that she kind of made clear, and what I realized in my first week that I ever went to camp, was how much Jesus loves you, and it was the first time that I really understood that God wanted a relationship with me and with me personally, and that hit pretty close to my heart. I remember standing on the deck of my cabin. I was in Martingale. It was just stairs back then, and I remember she talked me through a prayer, and I remember crying really hard and being so embarrassed that I was crying, and I didn't understand why I was crying, because I really didn't feel like it was a sad moment, but I understand now when I look at it that was one of the biggest moments in my life, and that even though I didn't know it, that's why that emotion just overtook me. Honestly, I think when I first did it, I did it because my cabin leader talked about how great it was, how amazing having a relationship with Jesus was, and I thought, if she thinks this is so great, it must be, and I want that. And then as I got older, I started to understand more how important it was for me to have that relationship, and how Jesus is the one thing in my life that is going to be constant no matter what. And I think that that's what it became for me. My early camp experience has led to everything else that I've done in my life. I wouldn't have been able to be a Christian or who I am today without that camp experience. And all of the summers that I've spent at camp, I've made friends, I've built relationships, I've learned how to grow in my relationship with God. And I couldn't have done that without that exposure to all of it in the beginning. I started going to church a couple years after I started going to Dallas Valley as a camper. I became a member of my church and decided to get baptized when I was 13. I have been impacted by so many of my campers. I don't think that there's a single one who doesn't impact me in some way. I've met some kids who are from some really rough situations, and they've shown me how when they step into a relationship with the Lord, how much strength that can give them, and how they can move forward with their lives with God. And I've just learned so much patience and unconditional love from all of the kids that I've gotten to know. So many different personalities, and just to be able to love each of those kids in their own way has been a huge honor. I have been blessed to lead a few kids to the Lord. If I thought about it hard, I could think of every child that I have, but each experience is so special in its own way, and I just love getting to see the joy in their faces. The very first child that I got to be with when she accepted Christ reacted very similarly to how I did when I accepted Christ. And she was crying and she was embarrassed. And it was that moment that it really, really hit me why I had been so emotional when I found Christ. And I just said to her, you don't know it now, but this moment is going to change your whole life. And I just saw a lot of myself in her, and the potential that she had to go forward with that relationship. There is absolutely nothing that I regret about being a part of camp, and I know that it has made me who I am today. And I would strongly encourage anyone who is thinking about camp at all to check out Dallas Valley, because it is where I have grown up. It is where I have found myself in my relationship with Christ, and there is nothing more valuable than that. So if you are thinking about camp, do it. Just do it.